Welcome to the Heart of the City Regina Downtown podcast series, episode 22. During this episode, you will meet Justin Lee, General Manager of PathCowork. In the midst of these unprecedented times, PathCowork continues to stay optimistic and forward-thinking, with the goal to continue to provide a flexible co-working workspace for the Regina community of entrepreneurs, remote workers, to small and large organizations. Stay tuned to hear how PathCowork navigated their way through the Provincial State of Emergency to their phased reopen plan. I will be your host, Dominika Denev, Manager of Marketing and Communications for Regina Downtown Business Improvement District.
Today, I'm joined by General Manager of PathCowork, Justin Lee. Welcome, Justin.
Hi there. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. How's your day going so far?
It's been a great day. We've got a number of people working out of the common area and lots of busy businesses working out of our meeting rooms today as well. So it's busy around our space, which is nice to see.
That's great to hear. So I'd like to start off with congratulating you guys. I noticed on your social media that you hit 2 years a few days ago.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems like a blur. It was kind of one of those things that I actually almost forgot about our anniversary, given everything that's going on. And then, it's really unbelievable how quickly it's gone and how much we've grown, and a lot of positives and things that we've learned. So it's nice to do a little bit of a reflection on the past previous years and, really thankful for what we've built and the community that supported us.
Congratulations. That must shine some light on the positivity, like what to come this year still with everything that's happened so far. So why don't we jump into explaining what a co-working space is? Because some of our listeners may not even know what that is.
Sure, absolutely. So our space, we've got 16,000 square feet in downtown Regina, and as you mentioned, we're a co-working space. So we are really trying to be a business that can provide a flexible work option for any type of team. Now, when I say any type of team, I think a lot of people generally think about co-working just for freelancers and small businesses. While we can definitely accommodate and do accommodate a lot of those types of individuals and teams, we also cater to some larger organizations. So in our space, we've got I'd say about 30 to 40% of our space is private offices. And we have some larger teams of up to 20 working out of our space in these kind of tailored private offices. And then we have individual 1 to 2 person private offices, and then just some flex options. So the way that we kind of operate is you can access our space in the most minimal way via a day pass, and that includes coffee, tea, Wi-Fi, beer on tap, and all those things. And then we jump up into memberships that give people kind of permanent 24/7 access to work out of the space.
Beer on tap, hey? People probably like that, probably flags some people's ears.
They definitely do. It's definitely been a positive thing overall, and thankfully people are pretty respectful of that. But I guess, yeah, so generally kind of the overall take on co-working is, we really try to see the hospitality in workspace and try to take care of everything that any team would need so they can focus on what's most important, which is their business. So all those things, whether it's desks and chairs or a place to work, Wi-Fi and phones, all of those things we take care of so people can kind of move in day one and get right to it.
And I've had a chance to be in your building, and it's very comfortable, I'd have to say. Like, there are different elements, like different rooms have a different vibe and feeling to them. And I know you guys have them different names for that feeling as well. So I think it's a very unique space that you do offer for the flexible workspace for individuals. So when the Provincial State of Emergency did happen, what happened on the end with you guys? Since you have different like tenants in there and you have people that kind of flexible and come in and out, like what did you end up having to do in that situation?
Right. So it's interesting for us because offices technically weren't mandated to be closed. So we were keeping a really close eye on things, and we decided to close relatively early. I think it was about mid-March. And part of the reason for that is we really are a communal space. So even the teams that have their own private offices and their own kind of private specific areas, the space is very communal. We all share various boardrooms. We have a big common area and a common kitchen and all those things. So there's a lot of interaction within our space. So the first thing for us was, just to evaluate at what point in time, we didn't feel like we were taking the appropriate steps, and we felt that we should probably be leaders in this given the communal nature of our business. So yeah, we essentially closed down, and what that looked like was we paused all of our monthly memberships and then worked alongside the rest of our members who have private offices and longer term leases with us to make sure that we could, work alongside to do the best that we can in providing them with either, deferred rent and things like that. So it was really kind of a lot to juggle in regards to all of that. But we felt, jumping to the conclusion to do it in mid March was the best decision overall.
And during that experience, were there any other challenges like you'd like to share with our listeners? Did you have to apply for any of the provincial grants or anything that you wanted to share your experience with?
I think, there's a variety of challenges for sure. I mean, for us, we have over 35 different businesses. So on my end, I'm kind of the front person that interacts with all of them. So dealing with each business is, everybody has a different circumstance. And so I think trying to support those smaller businesses that really need help certainly was challenging, but also really rewarding at the same time. And then, yeah, we had to temporarily lay off some of our team, and we had to figure out ways to apply for some of those salary-based grants and things like that. So I think, the biggest challenge going through all of this is that the information being released was just so plentiful, and there's new information coming out every day, and it got a little bit exhausting trying to stay on top of all of that. But I think overall, we have such a supportive business community here, and we were able to connect with some businesses that operate out of our space to alongside with Regina Downtown, actually, to do things like the Business Resilience series, and that helped us out a lot too, because it's nice to have other people and other businesses who are trying to figure out a lot of the same things as us, because ultimately it's, although we're helping the businesses working out of our space, we're a business too. So we really kind of went through the same challenges together in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. That's great to hear that it was helpful on your end too. Now, with the reopening phases, when did you guys choose to reopen?
So we've, I guess, had a couple of phases on our end as well. So in mid-May, we started to allow people with private offices to access the space again with no access to any of the common facilities. Now, we also had restrictions on the ability to enter those private offices, and that in any private office, only one person could be in there. So that was kind of our phase one, which, for us was important as a business. And there was definitely some demand for companies to get back into their private spaces and escape either, their kids or things like that to get back in our space. And then we kind of did our phase two reopening in the beginning of June. So I guess about 2 months now, and we reopened the space, and within that we reopened our meeting rooms and the common area. And the main changes that we really did, I guess the biggest thing is we've kept our doors locked. So they're still locked right now, and I'm likely going to keep them locked all the way until August. And part of that is we're just trying to manage the foot traffic through the space. And anybody that chooses to hold small meetings with their outside clients are more than welcome to do so now. But they're just required to let them in, and we have a guest sign in to make sure that we are keeping track of any individuals that do come through our space. And then we've added a number of different policies and procedures to include more individual workspace. This is requiring people to wipe down their spaces and sanitize prior to coming into the building, alongside lots of signage to remind people to be safe, with maximum number of people allowed in meeting rooms and boardrooms and stuff like that. So I think that's been probably the biggest adaptation for us, is really just more on the logistical end. And we've started to see lots of teams back even in the common area, and everybody's being really respectful and careful with everything that we kind of offer, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of really good protocols in place and being able to manage the flow, like you said, being a larger facility and having different areas that are kind of rented out, so to speak, during a specific time. It's really good to hear that it's been managed well and that everyone's kind of following what you're putting out there for guidelines and working with you guys. So that's great to hear. Do you foresee any challenges in the near future, or do you want to kind of more elaborate on maybe some of the positives that you learned from this whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, going to be challenges for everyone. I think for us, we were really, really hitting our stride coming into 2020. And, many businesses were, and it really is all of us going through the same thing. So definitely not dwelling on that. And I think overall, we really are optimistic about the opportunities for the co-working industry. And I think, there's maybe challenges isn't the right word, but there's definitely uncertainty surrounding how the workplace is going to look in the future. But for us, we're extremely optimistic about this industry in specific, because right now what businesses, and particularly medium to large businesses, are starting to do is they're starting to identify, what remote work strategies and policies and working policies look like for their team. And a lot of people are going to be evaluating those, and co-working spaces can come in as a really kind of happy medium in that, not everybody's able to work from home, but empowering your staff to have that option to either work from home or a co-working space, for example, is something really positive. And we definitely already are seeing a demand for people to give their team access to the space. And maybe that's instead of taking 20 private offices in a big building, they just want to be able to access our common area, or maybe that's take one private office, and still be able to collaborate and build that culture within their team. So I think for us, we're future looking, very, very good. And I think it's going to take some time to get back to where we were and to continue to grow. But overall, I think these challenges that, really the world's biggest remote work trial is taking place right now. And I think we're going to reap the benefits of that.
Awesome. Now, with everything, do you have a piece of advice that you would like to share with a small business owner?
Yeah, I think, for us, or for me specifically, I think the power of staying in touch, and communicating with in our circumstance members, but, your consumer and the stakeholders that, interact with your business really goes a long way. And so far that I didn't really maybe realize, the appreciation of the weekly updates that we're providing, taking the time to call almost every member that works out of our space, and I think the amount of goodwill that we've kind of created through checking in, asking how people are doing, as simple as that, with your audience and with your customers, goes such a long way. And I think that's partly why we're seeing so many people come back. So I think, yeah, just checking in with your customers and being authentic with them, and trying to be as transparent as possible in challenging times.
Now, I have to ask, what's next for you guys? Do you have anything exciting coming down the pipeline that you want to maybe tease us with, or just share something? I know you were maybe going to expand out into Saskatoon before, so I'm not sure if that's still in the works or what you'd want to share with us.
Yeah, so we're still looking at expansion right now. I think in the immediate future, we've put a pause on Saskatoon temporarily. Now we're still looking at opportunities and options there, and have some great tenants that want to work with us in Saskatoon. But this has definitely thrown a bit of a wrench in some of our circumstances. But we're still actively looking for both a second location in Regina and a location in Saskatoon. Now our timelines have certainly changed, and it's a little bit opportunity based. But we're very much so starting to play offense with our business again, instead of kind of the defensive catch up via COVID. So I think we are certainly planning to make some big changes, and hopefully take another step forward in regards to expansion in the next year.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing what comes of this. So one last thing, do you want to share with our listeners where they can follow along with your business, or even reach out to yourself to find out more information of possibly how to come into your co-working space?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can contact me directly at justin@pathcowork.ca, and anybody that is interested in checking the space and trying it out on a free day pass or something like that, I'd be happy to hook that up. And then our Instagram and Facebook are just at PathCowork, PATH Cowork, and that is the easiest way to get in touch with us.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the podcast, Justin, and I wish you well for the rest of this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great day.